minutes. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Hello and welcome to Weekend Warriors right here on the HHH Racing Podcast, episode 19. I'm your proud host, Howard Kravitz, along with second place, third place, another contest run for Noah Maher and Matt Miller. How's everyone doing tonight? Thanks for watching. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right. And you really need to do that, especially for the next 2 weeks, because of the holidays, our schedule is going to be completely different. And then smash, boom. Was that a better sound, Matt? Boom. Smash that like button below the video player, please. We'd really appreciate that. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. And you can follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod. Noah, you are making another run again, my friend. We're going to show the leaderboard in just a minute as we're here to cover the last 3 races at Turfway Park on their Synthetic Champions Day. Noah, I don't even have to ask how you're doing. I'm assuming you're doing pretty darn well.
Yeah, so far so good. Took a run at things yesterday and came up a little bit short. So woke up this morning with a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. So I was, confident in getting in today. And there was a spot I liked earlier and worked my way up to first at that point. Now I'm in third. So looking good so far, but ask me again in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was it's 3 races, but there's still actually a long way to go. And I know it feels like that. Matt, you are having another good day, especially on the side. I know you had some nice scores on the side. You're not in the, you're out of the contest, but we got another fascinating leaderboard here as we'll go and bring it up on the screen right now. Yours truly is playing. I have 2 entries. They're both alive. I'm very much in this contest. I don't know the exact place I'm in, but we'll show it right now. Right now, Steven Zare is in the lead, 27-25. Dave Handelin, 24-25. Noah Maher, right there, 21-39. And the list goes down. I'm currently in 9th right now with 757. However, I do have another entry a little bit lower down with $350 left. So I'm in 9th and 24th right now. Matt, first of all, how you doing this afternoon, this evening? And number 2, it's going to be a very exciting conclusion here to the Synthetic Turfway Park Championships. 2 NHCCs on the line, Matt.
Yeah, and if you scroll down a little bit on the prize board, I think that's probably the rest of the context we need to give.
Yep.
This one is super top heavy. So top 2 positions really, really matter. I don't care if you value that NHC seat at infinity, 5,000, 3,500. I've heard lots of different numbers and reasons. It's definitely worth something, but there's $4,500, there's $1,500. It is nice, little consolation prizes for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It always stinks when it just kind of cuts off at those top 2. So it's nice to get something back, but people are not targeting 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They will feel sad that they fell into those spots. This is all about the top 2.
Yeah, there is some cash on the line. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that everyone wants to get to the NHC. It's why they're in this. But, 3rd place is almost your money back in the contest, $750. So it's just something to think about for sure. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to, let me go back on screen. No, let's go to you. Let's focus on these races. I'm going to bring up the PPs. There's 3 races left here. It's been very chalky until the last race with a Minx Palace, a dirt horse, comes over the top and upsets 2 horses. So there were 2 heavy favorites there, Noah. I would guess that some people played doubles with those 2 horses, and there might be more hidden money that's actually out of the contest. We don't know, of course, at this point. That is something to consider for everyone.
Absolutely. I would think that people would kind of allocate their money towards Caitlin or Greatness, who was very good in her race, and then, spread that out amongst either the 2 or the 3. And frankly, they were a little disappointing. I was watching the race with Matt right before we started here, and top of the stretch, I mean, we were pretty much both convinced that it was going to be either Pratt or it was going to be Irad. And then here comes the 10, who I believe it was her first start on the synthetic, if I'm not mistaken. Boy, she really took to it and came over the top, came in at either 11 or 12 to 1. And it definitely knocked out a good friend of ours, Matt McJunkin. Actually, no, he got knocked out in the previous race.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely was
the one shot that came in second.
Yeah. So, it's a tough draw there, but other than that, it's been pretty chalky so far.
Yeah, let me go ahead and multitasking as usual. I'm going to go and I'm going to let you talk for a little bit, Noah, as I'm going to make some bets. I don't need to calculate anything, Matt, because I know what I'm going to be doing here. So, no, I'm going to go ahead and show the field, and then just tell me when to switch to the PPs, and you can talk about some of the top choices. The Prairie Bayou Stakes coming up here, 250K, 1 mile. There were some scratches. Actually, I think this race was affected the most actually by scratches. Noah, go ahead and expound on this race as we look at the field right now. Current odds on the far right, 1-5. Wow, on Encino, that is crazy to me.
Yeah, he's quite betting the pools too. So I think you maybe be 2-5, 3-5 compost time. I know he's hit pretty good in the doubles, so it's maybe a possibility that somebody's got that. Cameo Performance is a little bit closer in odds in terms of the pick 3. I was looking at that. But Encino's got obviously a big shot. So does Cameo Performance. Encino from the outside obviously makes a ton of sense in a spot like this. The outside post is a bit of a concern, but with the scratches, he comes down to either post 8 or 9. So it wouldn't be as big as a concern as maybe it typically would be with a full field that we were expecting. He's got plenty of numbers to go back on the page. He ran huge last year at the end of March in the Kentucky Cup Classic, where he lost to Mercante. We saw Mercante come back at Churchill Downs and run a big race over that yielding turf course that day. So he's got big numbers on the page, and a lot of those are right here at Turfway Park. So horse for course, and with the wide post now with the scratches, not going to be compromised as much as he normally would have been.
Right.
Yeah, I was slightly against. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, well, if you're still on Encino, go with that, but go to Otago after this once you're done.
Of course. I was a little bit against Encino when the whole field was in there, because I thought there was a lot of other speed and it'd be wide. That is not the case right now, and we don't need to talk about how good Flavian is, but the ride he gave on Kayla Her Greatness was completely ridiculous. I know she was odds on, but it was an absolutely picture-perfect trip. So Encino, though, did not. Now, Wolfie's Dynagos has turned into a monster at age 7. Yeah. That was worse than poor. That was just horrendous effort last time. I'm not really sure what happened. I guess that's not scaring anyone off, though, Matt, obviously.
No, I guess not. I mean, 1-5, I was definitely surprised, but you look at these will pays, which I'm going to try and pull up right now as we're talking, and yeah, they're low. I mean, and that's with the long shot. So this horse is I still think the horse is going to come up from 1-5 to some degree, but I don't know to the point that regular people would be making win bets on it. So, the other thing to talk about, and it's in the context of a contest that we're doing this, even if not in a contest, it's in the context of your day we're doing this. How many races are left? What other plays do you like? And I think, at least for me, the most interesting horse on the day is in the next race, Howard Wallowitz. It's going to be a big favorite. This is the kind of opportunity where someone who thinks they're smart, looks for a daily double and says, oh, maybe I can pair these up and improve my price. I will save you all the trouble. There's a lot of smart people out there, and that double pays even money right now. And so it's going to be awfully hard to make a lot of money in this race unless Encino loses.
You want to talk about Otago here, Matt. Otago, of course, to our good friends at Crownsway, ran very well last time. I mean, 18-1 seems silly. I mean, this is a very consistent horse. I thought he'd be more like after the scratches. Matt, no, I thought, let me go full screen here or put you guys on. I thought he'd more like 10. Now, he might drift down, but I mean, right now, you're getting 18-1 on a nice horse.
Agreed. And it's a good opportunity for you to talk about the way you like to make these underneath plays, where you've got a horse on top and you've got another horse that, I'll use your terminology, making fun of you, could clunk up for third, or that is interesting to you. Those are usually your key words for, this kind of a find. And okay, I'll just steal your thunder. Right, it's either an exacta or it's a trifecta with Encino on top, a whole bunch of horses for second, and then Otago for third. So there are lots of creative ways to bet these races, even with a big favorite, but it does require you to have some other second opinion.
I would agree with that. There's ways to make money. I had a nice little pick 5 yesterday, but what I don't tell people too often, except people in our very close family, is I had 3 or 4 trifectas yesterday at Gulfstream with horses I liked underneath that I keyed in second and third. I mean, did I make like tens of thousands? No, but 300 here, 400 there. I mean, you can make money in this game without playing big win bets and doubles. That's obviously a great way to play, but it's not the only way. Cameo performance is we've got how much time we got here? We're 2 minutes. And we'll have sound, ladies and gentlemen. We will have sound, but we can't show the video. But we'll have live sound. Noah, I'm telling you, I've chased this horse so many times. He's teasing me so many times. Sometimes he's had trouble, trips. Sometimes he's just been unlucky. He's a little bit quirky. I think he's better going a little bit longer. But look, if the 2 is aggressive, I think the whole key of this race is what the 2 does. Yeah. If horsepower is aggressive inside of him, makes Encino work. And horsepower is a pretty good horse at this point. Mm-hmm. It might set up a camera performance, but he's just, like I said, he's quirky. And he just needs a lot of things to go his way. Not because he's not talented enough. It's just, he just always seems to find trouble. He's just one of those horses.
Yeah, he's a quirky horse, and some would maybe put him in the category of a money burner, but I don't know. He's run his race, and in a lot of his races, he just hasn't quite gotten there, and he's faced some very good fields. In his last race in the autumn, I don't think it mentions it in the comments, but I'm pretty sure he hit the rail around the far turn.
He did.
And leading into the stretch.
He absolutely did.
And definitely compromised him. I thought he had a legit chance to get second. I was maybe a little disappointed that he wasn't able to hold on for that placing, but I still thought he ran fine. And again, that was one of his first couple tests on the synthetic. He had run a Woodbine in the Marine where he had run a decent race on the synthetic. And then you came back in that autumn, like I was talking about, and put up a respectable number. So, he's got proven form and he's a proven commodity over the synthetic as well. It's just whether or not IRAD can kind of get the trip in here.
I mean, that was a complete mistake on the comment line. Was it 2 back? Okay, they're going. They're about to go in the gate here. So let me get this going here. Hold on 1 second here. So I got to bring this up real quick here.
2-1 and 1-2. So they've tightened up a teeny bit.
Okay. All right.
Any plays for either one of you guys? You can announce them once the race goes off.
Yes. And I have to. Let me just. Sorry about this, guys. I'm gonna take the video away right now. Hold on 1 second, everyone. Sorry about that. Can't do that.
Here's your too late reminder to put in your minimums if you have.
We should be able to hear, guys. We should be able to hear the sound when it comes on. I'm sorry. You guys hear the sound?
Magnus on tap.
Yes.
It is post time right now for the Prairie Bayou.
Okay.
Horse who won the Jim
All right.
It's Matt Carruthers.
Yes.
With the Hall of Fame.
I have doubles, guys, that I'm playing here. Almost and very aggressive. So good luck, everyone.
And there they go in the Prairie Bayou Stakes. Encino asked for speed out of the starting gate. Likewise for horsepower from the inside. Encino just a little quicker. Horsepower is in the second spot. Looks like he's going to try to get away from the inside. Chiron has them all bottled up through the early stages. Naptown from the extreme outside. He races outside of Otago. And right there with them is Cameo Performance. He comes away in the sixth spot, and he's 4 lengths.
If Encino's any good, guys, this race is over.
It's another 2 lengths back to Wagstaff. Surly, Furious to his outside, and Best Actor is the last of all. It is Encino and Flavian Pratt to the 5/8, dictating the terms by more than a length and a half. Chiron second, Horsepower is third. Naptown has that fourth position. Otago goes with him 4 lengths off the lead. It's about 2.5 to Cameo Performance, more than a length in front of Wagstaff. Surly, Furious, and Best Actor at the back, 24-1, 47-4, a very sensible flow for Encino. to the 3/8 a length and a half. Horsepower is nudged along, coming for his run inside of Chiron. Cameo Performance gets away from the inside, and he is closing strongly. Encino and Horsepower and Cameo Performance top of the lane in the Prairie Bayou. Encino still with something left. To his outside is Horsepower. Cameo Performance is third. Encino loves the Tapeta here at Turfway, and he has led the entire trip. And he's going to go wire to wire and the Prairie Bayou Stakes. Big night for Flavian Pratt. Horsepower second, then Cameo Performance, Naptown to complete the Superfecta.
So let me ask you guys a question. It came 12-3, I believe.
Yep.
If you're Sam Marin, Noah, on Horsepower, I don't know what the instructions are. Isn't the only way you can win this race is to wire? Like, do they really think they were going to stalk Encino and beat this horse? Now, I guess there's nothing wrong with the second place finish, obviously. And I'm assuming that was the plan. But if you're going to win this race, you're not going to let Encino walk the dog and come around and win.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not questioning the ride. I'm questioning the strategy, which was very apparent to me.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Marin didn't try a little harder to maybe make Flavian work for it, because it seemed like he got over pretty easy. Now, he did get out broke. I thought the 12 broke a little bit better than the 2. But I was a little surprised that he was just kind of content to let him go, because obviously Encino's proven that once he gets a lead like that, he's tough to run down.
Yeah, now it's fair to say, Matt, and this, Horsepower had only gone long, once, I think, in his career. And he almost won, but he sort of ranged up and didn't hold. And that was at a mile. Of course, this was a mile. So I guess they figured if they go forward and try to wire the wire, then Encino's going to be pressing him the whole way, and he's going to finish 5th or 6th. So that was clearly, I don't want to be too harsh on Marin at all. I'm just saying, to me, that was clearly, let's just pick up a check, or let's just stalk and see if we can go by. But he was never going by. I mean,
no, I think these were probably the exact instructions. I think when they saw the race unfolding, they were probably very happy. I think the whole idea was sit on the horse's hip, and if you're good enough to go by, do it. Otherwise, you'll be caught up in a nice flow up front, and you should be able to finish nicely in the money. So I wouldn't blame those connections for kind of not conceding the race to Encino, but conceding that Encino's the controlling speed and better. And this actually reminded me of Medina Spirit against Knicks Go, where everyone thought it was going to be this big speed battle, but instead Medina Spirit ran a smart race for second.
He did indeed. Okay, so another favorite. I mean, it's crazy, guys, because we know how Turfway can be, and I've been sort of waiting in general for these later races, thinking those would be the chalky ones. Of course, one of them was not. When you have chalk early in a contest, Noah, you're going to see big numbers, and with Encino winning, that's got to help a lot of people. But again, there are hidden doubles, Noah, that I'm sure a lot of people played 2-3 with 12 from the previous race into this one, and that money is dead that we don't see on the leaderboard. If someone sniffed out the 12-10 double, the 10-12 double, who knows what the leaderboard's gonna look like?
Yeah, somebody was able to sniff out the double Caitlin and Her Greatness into the 10, which paid tremendously. So hats off to that guy. But I'd be surprised, because just with the way that the card's going and how it's flowing, it'd be tough to have. And then you also got the hidden money with doubles like you played with the 3 or the 12 going into Howard Wallowitz in the next race. But with the way that they're paying, you're really going to have to hit those hard if you want to make a move in here.
Right. Well, you don't know what I played in the next race, so
All right.
for the record. But anyway, I mean, Howard Wallowitz is going to be the favorite. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. But it's interesting, Matt, because if people played into Howard Wallowitz with the double, I mean, it's 2 and change for $1. You can't make a lot of money. It's hard to make a move there and be tempted to not play Howard Wallowitz in a double, especially if you're in the bottom half of the contest. I mean, you can only make up so much there. And sure, Howard Wallowitz is going to be a big favorite, and we're going to talk about the race here coming up next. We got plenty of time, but it's not a turf sprint, Noah and Matt, but unlike the race that we just saw, I only thought only 2 horses could win that last race, the 12 and the 3, in my opinion. Howard Wolowitz obviously is the favorite, but Matt, I think there's a few horses that can step up and win, especially because Howard Wolowitz is coming off a taxing performance and a little bit of a layoff.
Agreed. I think the fear is the price. And I think based on where that leaderboard just was, there were only a couple of people in the tournament that could actually, if you're playing proper strategy, in my opinion, there's only a couple of people that could have afforded to play that. It only pays $2. So most people, that doesn't make them enough money for where they're at in this tournament. It's not good enough. And so they have to find something else. Yeah, Nick Sievers did a nice job there. So Noah, you're back to 4th.
Yep.
We knew you'd have to shove again at some point or do something anyway, and this just makes that all the more certain.
Well, let's talk about it. Nick Sievers takes the lead, 32.56. Steven Zare stayed about where he is at second. Dave Handelin also sat. Noah pretty much, well, I say sat. They could have doubles alive in the next race, but as far as we know, didn't make a non-double play, we should just say. Let's see what Nick did, guys. I'm assuming, let's see. He had the double. There we go. Yep.
The exacta.
Oh, he had the exacta. Excuse me. He had the exacta. That's a smart play. That's a real nice play. I'm sure he was happy when the 3 didn't really go on with it, and it looked like 12-2 really from the get-go. I mean, the 3 made a wide sweep move, but there wasn't a fast pace. That's a nice job. That's a $200 exacta. I don't know if that was all in or not for him, but I know obviously it wasn't.
Cold-cocked exacta. That's crazy. I mean, he didn't even have multiple combos. Just a boom, a $200.
Really well done.
Beautiful.
He was not all in, obviously. There but that was a big score for him. He had 1,800 going to there, 1,600ish looks like.
Yeah.
Yep. So good for him. Nice exacta there. It shows 757, but I do have doubles alive. Not all in, but I do have doubles alive. And I also have doubles in my second entry. So, and not all in because I have to play minimums. So there we are. I'm chuckling, Noah, because we've been on air before. We've been off air before. You, my friend, have been in this situation, which is a great thing, quite a bit, where you're just off the money and you have a decision to make and how much you're going to bet.
Yep.
And we already talked about the last race is a real cluster in general. And actually the potential favorite, I know you don't love. I'm not saying that you will or not play it, but Noah's got some decisions to make again, Matt. It's real tricky.
It's real tricky. And look, Noah and I were talking before the show started, and before this leaderboard started popping, I think the hope was just maybe a simple win or a place bet even on Howard Wolowitz. Well, not at 1 to 5. It's just not enough. And we talked about it. It's a top-heavy tournament. You need top 2. And so, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm talking to 2 guys both looking down, and I don't blame either one of you. I would be looking for your top doubles or your top exactas, and you have to add some risk to get added reward from this equation. And I would not personally, my recommendation would not be to sit around hoping that Howard Wolowitz somehow makes it up to 1 to 2 or something like that. I'm not even sure, as I look at the leaderboard, Noah, for you, I'm not even sure that's enough. I mean, if you went up 50%, you'd be still below Nick. And Steven Zare's a terrific player who's going to be firing hard. This guy's either going to win or crash and burn hard. He's a great player, but he's aggressive. I don't know the guy in third. And yeah, I mean, as I look down, David Rink, we know Howard's playing. Gwynn is a player. And so my guess is that both of the winning top 2 spots are going to be well into 3,000. And so, like I said, even if the horse went to 1 to 2, I'm not sure it helps you. So yeah, you got to take some risk and good luck.
I think what's pretty clear, and we've been down this road a million times. It's absolutely going to come down to the last race, which Noah, you and I agree is a very tough one.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's maybe 3 horses that you could make very good cases for, but I don't think it's really down to those 3. You got, obviously they're 2-year-old maidens and they can change by the day. So
Yeah.
If one of those top 3, either 4, 5, or 7, who we'll talk about and make cases for, if they don't get the job done, I really wouldn't be surprised.
They're also hard to trust. So, while we have the time, actually, no, I want you to do me a favor because I got to check something on my phone very quick. Actually, something outside of the contest, but Noah has controls also when he needs to. He knows what I mean. Can you go through the chat, the comments in the chat, Noah, and pull up some and talk here for a minute? I'll explain why in a second.
Yep. We got a bunch of people in the chat. Let's see who we got in here. Ralph Conti is here, of course. Thank you, Ralph, for joining the show. He was talking about the Santa Anita card, which was supposed to be the day after Christmas, which thank God they moved to the 28th, I believe. And those entries, I think, just came out, some Baffords in the Malibu. So looking forward to that card that I know we're going to be talking about at PHP with you, Howard. So we'll be looking forward to doing that. We've got James in the chat. Brad's rooting me home. Bradley, we were talking yesterday. I was congratulating him. Hopefully he's congratulating me today. James.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it, buddy.
Eric Walker is here. He says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, Eric, and a bunch of people that are joining. We got hundreds of people watching, so it's really fortunate that we have this platform and get to do this in front of you guys because I really enjoy it. I love this.
Very cool. Noah, you don't know this. Matt knows this, but well, you both know the fact that our good friend Paul Halloran likes to call me Uncle just for fun, and I have a bit of a moniker out there within the family called Funkle, of course, which is a take on Uncle. But in this case, Noah,
the F stands for fun.
Yep.
Right? The F stands for fun. In this case, it's actually true. So shout out to my brother and my sister-in-law, Irina. They had a baby yesterday. Last night, Michaela Lavana Kravitz, a 7-pound, 8-inch baby girl. She's doing great. Michael and Irina, love you guys. Shout out to both of you. Congratulations. Uncle number 7 for me, Matt. I've got, that is my 7th, well, not my 7th niece, my 7th total niece and nephew.
If I could have stopped time, I would have bet $1 million that you were going to call that kid a filly.
Well, if she had a tail and 2 more legs, I would consider it. But as far as I know, she does not. So that's we got Noah here. He's the equine studies expert. He can tell us the physiology of what a horse would look like in detail. Probably more information than we want to know, man, including any kind of disease you might want to know and some other things. I should go on the internet right now, Noah, and test your knowledge. Since he just had a class. Noah just had to finish the class on what was the class called, Noah?
Health and diseases. But
there you go.
Now that finals
for horses, not people, folks. This is a horses.
Now that finals are over, I just forget about all that stuff and reset.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation time, baby.
By the way, I didn't mention this, but last week, Noah, on leaderboard, you mentioned a little bit despair of someone going on with a facial issue, let's just say. I'm telling you right now, that's not finals. I'm guaranteed that's contest stress right there. That's absolutely contest stress. But as far as your parents know, it's final stress. We'll just keep it at that.
If it was going away, it's absolutely coming back after this weekend. I can tell you that.
All right. Hey, Matt, one other thing before we get into the contest. How about those frickin' Bears? I don't care if unless you're a Green Bay fan, that was a nutso game last night. And we'll get into the contest. But, look, there's other things in life other than horse racing. That was just absolutely crazy.
So many improbable things, one after the other, that could have derailed that. It was, it was just truly special. You just feel like so many times you're on the losing end of those things that, that was just a wild one. All right, Howard, 2 things to call your attention. Number 1, yes. Brad immediately fired back and said he's rooting for you. So don't give him
Thank you, Brad. He knows I was kidding, I hope.
All right, and I want to go to the comment above, which you guys don't need to highlight, but James wants to talk about betting philosophy, and so
let's do it.
Let's do it, and let's talk first about where Noah's at. At $2,100, where are you going to have to get to, right? And by the way, you guys shouldn't give answers to these questions. You're live in a tournament. I can talk all the BS I want. What would I be going for if I'm in your spot? 1,000,000%. I would concede nothing to the guy in first, and I'd be targeting probably $3,500. I think there's enough people that are going to clear him that I'd probably want to clear him by a little bit. And so, okay, first of all, I get it. It's a lot of money. You're at 21.41. That's a lot of money. I understand these aren't amounts that people bet every day, but you're playing a game. And if you just think about it in simplistic terms, okay, if you took away a couple zeros, you need to get from 21 to 35. Okay, that's not that crazy. You can do that. And so, yeah, the extra dollars certainly add to the nerves and the fortitude it requires to do this. But this is not, you essentially, Noah, need to come up with something north of a 1-2 shot. And Howard Wolowitz, as we were talking about before, we knew he might drift up a little, is 1-2 right now.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm not telling you what to do. I think hopefully people listening would agree. I think you'd be out of your mind unless you love someone in the last race also. I think you'd be out of your mind to risk your whole tournament on the price being enough. If this thing goes to 2 to 5 at the last second, you're going to be so frustrated that you have to act again, and you just wish that you didn't risk it the first time. So at 1-2, I'm not sure that's helpful enough to you to give you the confidence to do a win bet. That therefore leaves you with choices. And I think it was Eric that pointed it out. We can look at them right now super quickly. We don't need to be in detail. He said the exactas were paying all right. Well, okay, 6, 7. Sorry, that was not on purpose.
No, that was
going to put you on camera, Noah. I refuse.
That was absolutely intentional.
They pay 6, 7, 7, 8, 11, 14. So, okay, how many? If you're trying to increase your balance, let's say by 75%, you could probably afford 3 of those. Okay. You may think, gosh, I saw that. You may think I have no idea what's going to happen for second place in this race. I just think Howard Wolowitz is going to run away. Well, then we pivot to the double and we look at the will pays there. And actually, I would tell you from my own personal perspective in terms of how I look at risk, I'm practically giving away your hand, but it depends on who you like. There are 3 doubles that are being bet down right now, and they are being bet down hard enough that I would tell you without even knowing who the horses are, one of those 3 horses will win. I would say to someone in Noah's position with these things paying, I'm not going to say 6, 7, they're not, 5, 5, and 9, right, you can Dutch. Even if you took the 5 and the 5, you can Dutch if you pushed all in and go that way. Howard, I don't think so no, I think you could probably afford 2 of those.
Yeah.
Howard, you're not in the luxury position there of being able to do that. But, and where's your second entry?
I
you don't have to answer that, but it's interesting.
I have doubles alive. Well, I bet doubles on both entries.
And if you have cash still available, you absolutely, given where this leaderboard is going, need to keep deploying that money.
Of course. Well, I left $50 on purpose for this race coming up because I had to fulfill minimums. I already placed my bets for those. So my bets are in for this race. And I debated whether to go exactas or doubles with those $50, and I decided to play exactas here. So actually, I'll just leave it at that. So I'm not. What's going to be interesting here, Noah, is what you said. 3K, Matt, would be your target score to get in the first 2 higher.
35.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't think it would end up being that way, but it's been very chalky, and so when that happens, that's the way it's going to be. We got only 9 minutes, Noah, so let's do the same thing that we just did. Again, this is Howard Kravsall, Noah Maher, and Matt Miller. You're watching Weekend Warriors. 2 races left to see who gets the top 2 spots on NHCCs. Thanks for watching. We've got a lot of shows coming up. Please go to our YouTube channel for shows coming up. A lot of shows tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday because of the holidays. We have no shows on Wednesday and Thursday, obviously. Matt and myself actually will be at Gulfstream Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this upcoming week. So if you're in South Florida or you're in Gulfstream, drop a line, drop a DM, and say hello to Matt and myself. No, let's get to this next race here. I'm bringing it up on screen right now. 250K, the holiday cheer, 6 furlongs. There were some scratches here. I know shockingly no balls came out, guys. 3, 4, 5, 6 horses were scratches. Only a field of 8. No, the obvious favorite here, another big favorite. Although I have to say I have less confidence in Howard Wallowitz than I did in Sino. I'm not just saying that because the race ended already. It's 6 furlongs. There's horses in here that have run big numbers before, but Howard Wallowitz 1-2.
Yeah, and I kind of thought one of the things you would bring up that might be a red flag now with the scratches is he draws the rail, which, sometimes isn't ideal, especially if you've got speed horses to his outside. I know the 4 to his outside is, not particularly slow, but I do think Howard Wallowitz is pretty quick, and he's proven to be quick. So, if he is what he's supposed to be, and if he's ready to go here, I've got too much respect for Jose D'Angelo to think that he's not ready for the spot. He won here last year, proven form over the synthetic, which obviously we've talked about is a key factor going into these races. So just have to believe that Turf Mile was a bit experimental. Maybe they tried to get to the Breeders' Cup Mile down at Del Mar after they had a basically chaotic trip in that Turf Sprint when they went 5 furlongs at Del Mar. So, if I was the Connections, I wouldn't really blame him for trying to get to a configuration that suits him a little bit better rather than, that short 5 furlongs at Del Mar. But, I just have to believe that that's experimental. He's coming in here right. He's been training like a monster down at Palm Meadows, which obviously D'Angelo's, center down in South Florida down there. So, if he breaks well, sits in a pocket trip, or Irad can, maybe take the reins and take the lead if nobody really wants it.
So
my gut feel here, Noah, is that Irad's not going to be on the lead. I mean, he's fast, but they've taught him to rate a little bit. When I say rate, I mean just off in the pocket. I know the pocket can be dicey. You got to wait for a hole. Yeah. But one of the ways that Howard Wallowitz going to absolutely lose this race, in my opinion, is if he gets caught in a crazy speed battle, Matt. And Irad is one of the best riders in the country. Plus, there's other speed on the outside, Noah, and they absolutely have to go, like massive send. I think Howard Wallowitz, if he's like 2 or 3 off, wouldn't surprise me. I would be surprised if he's caught into a big-time speed duel. But again, if he was on the outside, Noah, Irad could look to his left and make a decision. Now he's going to have to look to his right to make a decision, and he's going to have to go at least a little bit, Matt. I mean, you can't be too passive here. Yeah. The other thing I would say, Matt, before you jump in, is there's some horses here, Matt, that I think would prefer 5 and 5.5. And Howard Wallowitz has proven that he can go 6 and 6.5. That's a major advantage. If this race, Matt, was 5.5, to me, that would make a big difference and bring some other horses more into this field. But that actually half furlong, I think will do Howard Wallowitz good if he's ready to fire.
The funny thing I want to just point out about this horse is, notwithstanding all of these really nice accomplishments, it's the maiden race that I hope he runs back to. I mean, this horse can zip out of the gate if he wants to. That's blazing fast at Gulfstream. And so I think, to your point, Howard, he's shown that he's versatile. You've got him in the hands of one of the best jockeys in the world. And I think he's going to send him out of there and make a decision pretty quickly. Do I keep sending, or I can picture one of these IRAD moves of drifting out a couple paths, making life a little tough for the horses coming over from the right. We'll see.
He's got Flavian's pretty quick right next to him, but I don't think Flavian has to have the lead. The horse that I was more talking about are like the 10, 11, and maybe even the 12, especially the 10 and 11, Noah. The 10 and 11 absolutely have to go. I mean, they have zero choice, in my opinion, if they're trying to win the race. If they just want to hand it to Howard Wallowitz, then I suppose my namesake can wire the field. Go ahead. I'm going to bring up the race here in the background. Second.
No, I was just going to say that I'd be a little surprised if Joe Shiesty kind of didn't get back to his previous running style, because his last couple of races, they've kind of been a little passive with him. And he had some success over the summer in the Kentucky circuit where, he was just a fireball out of the gate and took him wire to wire. So I would think that would be the instructions, no?
Yeah, I've chased Joe Shiesty a few times too. And by the way, a Keeneland performance is divorce papers signed. He didn't really get the setup today, but I've had enough with him. He ranged up Noah and like he was going to run big and just totally flattened out. So I'm done with him. And in saying that, I'll probably win it 5-1 on Pegasus Day or some nonsense in one of their races.
Hey, do you mind? Do you mind if I kind of mute myself and make sure?
Of course, yeah. So I mean, there are other horses, to take into consideration here as we have just a few minutes left. Like Noah's talking about Joe Shiesty, who I've chased and is a nice horse. I don't think this is one of these horses I'm talking about, Matt. I don't think 6 furlongs is going to do him any good. If this was 5.5, I think Joe Shiesty would have a much better chance. You could probably, Lofty Adjudicator can actually get distance, but a horse like Script, who's in really good form, by the way, and is probably underrated in this race for Rusty Arnold. But again, he's mainly gone 5.5, although he did go 6.5 at Kentucky Downs. I think if you're looking for a longer price, to me, Script is the one you might be interested in, Matt. Although he's got a wide post and a jockey that doesn't win.
Come on, Howard, say it.
He's a bit interesting, but I enough to use him. I don't know. The second choice. Go ahead.
He's not only a bit interesting, but he's a reasonable chance to clunk up for second or third.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
yeah, if you're trying to fill out tries or just an exacta, right? I mean,
absolutely. Look how many. Look at the lifetime record. 20 out of 31 starts in the money. So the horse shows up, and you're getting 11-1 behind a pretty likely favorite. This seems, I don't know, if I was kind of back to my old days of just playing cash every race, whatever, this would be an exacta and a back wheel try, just like you like to do. But it would be Howard Wolowitz on top. I'm not sure I'm looking at this saying, okay, this is my long shot to win the race, but this would be a great way to boost up my odds on Howard Wolowitz.
If they go crazy up front, Noah is in lucky score. I know he's 7, but he's in the shape of his life and almost beat No Balls last time and won an allowance race easily by 2 before that. He's going to come further back, but Urban Mancata is capable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's kind of a weird race because there's not really, we have horses that have some speed, but we could see them going a little too fast and getting caught up in that. So if he's able to take advantage of that, we saw the 10 come over the top and was able to swoop them down after they went a little too fast up front. So I don't see it as something that's not possible.
So they're going to the gate. I've a double that is basically that I'm alive to. It's basically my whole contest. I did spend $50 on each entry on different things. Noah, I know you probably made some decisions here. If Howard Wolowitz loses, Matt, this leaderboard is going to look completely insane. You would think, right?
Oh, I think your entire screen is going to look different. Me and Noah are going to be on the floor, I think. Yeah, I mean, I especially as you get down to the end of these tournaments where you have to be aggressive, one way or the other. Exactas, doubles. It probably won't be in win bets, but
there's really not.
You guys hear the sound?
Because of that,
yes. You're either for him or you're against him. And if you're against him, you've got a great chance to make a lot of money.
Seems to be getting
for him, you need it to go pretty exactly
on the board right now. And then
just for the record, if I played Howard Wolowitz here, which I think is pretty obvious, it's certainly not because of my damn name. He's 2-5 and clearly the horse to beat.
As well.
I can tell you that. So
roll on Big Joe.
Here we go, guys. Good luck.
He actually won
last stake race of the day at Turfway Park.
I think at Oaklawn 8 days ago. It is post time.
Chair stakes. Howard Wolowitz is showing pace. Joe Shiesty's a little quicker from his outside. Script comes away in good order.
Perfect trip for Wolowitz here. No excuses at all.
Bail.
None.
After them, Incinerator, Run Curtis Run, and Lucky Score is the last of all. Joe Shiesty crosses over, gets to the inside, leads by more than a length to Howard Wolowitz in hand and traveling smartly, stalking from that second spot. Out on bail, inches a little closer up the inside. Script remains in touch in the clear from third, vying for third. Lofty Adjudicator is 4 from Joe Shiesty. 3/4 of a length to Incinerator, then Run Curtis Run beginning a bit up the inside, and Lucky Scores at the back. Joe Shiesty and a very confident Howard Wolowitz to his outside. Out on bail from the inside. Remains in touch. They turn into the lane in the Holiday Chair, and Joe Shiesty has the lead. Howard Wolowitz has asked for his run, and he's trying to quicken after Joe Shiesty. Joe Shiesty's running brave. Howard Wolowitz needs to gear up in the final 16th. Joe Shiesty and Howard Wolowitz. Joe Shiesty and Howard Wolowitz. Joe Shiesty! Joe Shiesty turns back the defending champion Howard Wolowitz. After them was Script and Lofty Adjudicator.
Really?
Fernando de la Cruz, who is a super fun rider.
11-3. Not sure who got, is it the 12? Hang on it was just merry-go-round. Well, I'm out. Noah, where are you?
I am most likely out. Is there a chance that the 11? Is there a chance that the 11 came out a little bit? Or my wishful thinking?
First of all, it's closer than you think because the wire is completely jacked up. That is not. Let me tell you something. It looks like the 11 won easily. I'm sure he did win, but it's a lot closer than it looks because of the wire. I hope you're right. I didn't see anything. Of course, Joe Shiesty wins after I've chased him a lot. I would say two things, Noah. First of all, that first fraction was 22-1 and 45, which is walking on this track right now.
Yeah.
I would say a few things. First of all, congrats. Anyone had Joe Shiesty, you just could have blown up this tournament. So congratulations if you had Joe Shiesty. I would say two things. Number one, I'm absolutely shocked that there's no other speed. I don't know what happened to the other speed, but it never developed. They put the 11 up. I don't know where the other speed was. And I don't want to be critical of. They're actually showing they're showing the start. There's no inquiry, but I don't know what they're doing in the simulcast feed right now. I'm surprised there's no speed in the race really. And I guess if you want to nitpick, I reckon could have moved a little sooner. Maybe he was overconfident. They're showing the head on. I'm not sure what we're looking at here, but I'm hoping to God the 11 came over or something weird happened. I highly doubt it.
Hope, right?
If he was better, he would have won.
Yeah,
you know, everything's the good Howard Wolowitz goes by that horse easily. He got the trip he wanted. I don't know. Should I have been a little bit closer? No, if we want to nitpick, or just wasn't good enough.
Just wasn't.
No, he's supposed to beat him. Supposed to go by him.
So I'll just say what I did. I don't see an inquiry, so I think we're both done now. That's really just disappointing, especially my namesake. Man, Matt, I am so effing snake bitten in these tournaments right now. Contests, I really not going to sleep very well tonight. So what I do, everyone, I was all in $707 double Encino 2 Howard Wolowitz. That would have taken me about 2,100. I know it wouldn't have been enough to keep me in the top two, but it would have allowed me to make a move.
Another play. Sure.
I played exacta 3-6 also with my $50 on that same entry. The other entry I played tries with some bombs to try to do something creative with how Howard Wolowitz on top with like bombs underneath.
And it is
I see what you're saying though. I mean, it might have come out a little bit, but I don't see any.
That's official.
So, yeah. Now, are you out now?
Yeah.
You want to talk about what you did?
Yeah, I don't have too much to say other than this is the program that I was whipping the shit out of. Yeah, so I played doubles with Howard Wolowitz into the 4, 5, and 7 to get me to about 4,200. Wow. And unfortunately, it didn't come by. So I don't really have much else to say.
You know what? In a weird way, Noah, like I didn't have a good vibe, and because if he was good enough, he would have gone by him halfway down the stretch, like 3/4 the way. Like if you watch the replay last year, Noah, when he won it last year, Matt, it was the same thing. He tipped to the outside, but he won in 108 and change, and sort of blew by the field. I guess what I read or just was wrong about or unlucky about was Joe Shiesty getting loose, Matt. I just didn't. How well it sat the trip I thought he would, to be honest. We talked about it. But I thought someone would go with Joe Shiesty. I mean, I just, maybe some horses didn't break. It came 11-3. There's the 12 getting in third, by the way, Matt. And again, if you're a try player or you like that, if you like script in for second or third, the 12, that dollar try was 92. What's wrong with that?
Solid.
Absolutely nothing. Of course, you have to beat Howard Wolowitz. The exacta, by the way, was 21 to 1, approximately 21.9 to 1. So Matt, we got to look at the leaderboard. I'm going to try to be professional, but I'm extremely frustrated, as I'm sure Noah is also. But I don't have a program to smack around, but I'll find some non-human to do that with, because the other way would be very bad and illegal, and that's not what I'm about. Let me see the leaderboard here.
So Nick Sievers hit again. This is the guy last race, and it's funny. We surmised, he just cold cocked this $200 exacta. No, that isn't the only thing he cold cocked. He also cold cocked $100 double. Holy cow.
Wow.
Look at those two bets. It's just for people so that we're clear. They don't just show the winning bets. They show all the losing ones too. And there's none. That's crazy.
So Matt, the exacta was the previous race, my friend.
Right. But I'm saying that's what he did to get to this spot. And then he used that same 12 in the double.
So to the 11 only. To the 11 only? Wow.
Like, holy cow.
Wow. I mean, that's just a major tip your cap, Noah. That is.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Nick Sievers, who I'm not going to say he's going to get a seat yet, but boy, he's going to be.
Oh, my. 1 to 5, in my opinion.
Pretty tough. He's got 55. Yeah, he's got 55-29. That is really impressive. Noah, I mean, okay, we lost, whatever. It's just so damn frustrating when you chase a horse. I bet Joe Shiesty probably his last 2 times. I think with you at Keeneland, I think it was 1 time. Yeah. When I say with you, I was with you. I'm not saying you also bet Joe Shiesty, but look, when a horse gets loose at this level, anything can happen. So I'm not going to rip on Irad. He thought he was going to go by. He almost did go by. The horse just got it. If he engages early too, Noah, maybe he's in worse shape. So I don't know. He only lost though by. We didn't see the photo. I'm guessing it's a neck. Again, it's much closer than it looks by that camera angle. I can tell you that.
There is a critical tournament strategy point to be made here. Critical of Noah's plays that I really liked. So to be clear, I thought, Noah, I love what you did, but it does reveal there is a little bit of a flaw in what you did as I look back now. So Nick Sievers jumped to 5,500. What if one other person did? Now you're locked into 3 doubles that all pay in the 4,000s, and you're sitting here saying, "Oh my God, I can't." Now, does that mean that you should have targeted 6,000 before? No, I would have said that's way too high. So my point here is to say, when you do bet doubles at the end of a tournament, you do limit your options for flexibility if something like this were to have happened. Noah right now, if Howard Wolowitz had hit, he'd be sitting here stuck, which I don't think he'd mind being stuck. He'd be stuck to making whatever his will pays were, $4,500 or whatever. So he'd feel pretty good that he's likely to get second, but it would be somewhat torturesome to know you already couldn't win. And like I said, if a second person had done that, oh my gosh, would that have been a level of frustration that you've never felt before. So it's a good point to think about in terms of keeping flexibility for yourself at the end.
Let's talk about the more people on the leaderboard. Then I want to show some comments. We really appreciate everyone in the chat with some comments. We have almost 200 people watching live right now here on the HHH Racing Podcast. Michael Domable, here we go again, Matt. I'm curious. I'd love to talk to some people. Maybe we will Well, we're taping tomorrow, so I don't think we'll do it by tomorrow. But I'm curious to know if people just were against Howard Wallets because they actually thought he could lose, or because they just had to make a move, right? I think it's probably more the second, to be honest, than the first. But Michael Domville, unbelievable, a $3,000 win there with a $125 straight double to the 11. Let's see who else. He's the only one that really made a move and moved up. Yeah, Seth Morris moved up a bunch, but a lot of people are probably out too. So, yeah.
I mean, those could be some big doubles going forward that could be hidden.
Could be. We don't know.
That's tough to know, but I will be the first to admit here, if I was, well, I would say the worst job of handicapping I did for purposes of this tournament and my own preparation, I didn't expect totals this high. And so my plan for the day didn't involve anything getting above $5,500. And so, okay, I mean, sometimes you do these things and someone just has a really good day. I'd say right where Michael is at about 3,300, that seems about right to me. That's still a really big number off of a $250 starting balance. But it's a valuable, like we talked about earlier, these top two prizes are where all the big money's at. So it'll be interesting to see what Michael does.
Well, Matt, look, when you got a lot of chalk early, it's going to blow up. I mean, there's only one horse that's really been surprising before this race, and that was the 10 horse Ming Surprise, coincidentally. Here's the time form, Noah, and I believe in time form a lot. You don't know how horses are going to break, obviously. Howard Wallets was where I thought he'd be. I just don't know where the 4 and 10 were. I guess, I thought the 4 was going to send with Flavian. He didn't. I'd have to watch the replay. Yeah. The 10 just wasn't quick enough. Joe Shiesty actually caught a flyer, Noah. And those are things you just can't predict. But, hey, I mean, again, Howard Wallets got an absolutely perfect trip. So he just was just better. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's plain and simple. I think Howard Wallets is, if he's at his A game, he's supposed to go by him, and he's probably supposed to do it pretty easily. Now I know Joe Shiesty's, not a horse to sneeze at. He's got some, mid to high 90s in his resume, but I mean, you're supposed to win that race. And I think Irad kind of did everything he could to make that happen. So,
yeah, I just didn't love his action. I don't know. Not in the early, like when he was trying to make his run and we were both, I wasn't leaning. I couldn't tell what you were doing. I
think like the first 50 yards of the top of the stretch, there was some doubt that kind of started to seek in.
Didn't he go a little wide, just like a path wider than he needs to? I felt the horse.
That's how the 12 was moving, and there was just a split second where I kind of thought he was going to get swallowed up a little bit, and then he re-engaged, and then the 11 re-engaged.
Yeah, I did the extra half furlong. I thought would be a problem. Let's go to the chat because we got a lot of people watching. They don't want to hear us whine and complain about our loss, so that's okay. Brad, very nice, bring it home. I appreciate that, Brad. Didn't quite happen for me, but that's okay. Eric Walker said the question is go after the double or the exacta. Right. We talked about that. You could go either way. Let's see here. Great discussion. Thank you, Eric. Really appreciate that. Let's see here. Someone asked about the video. We've asked Twinspires, one of our new partners, and we're so grateful to have them as a partner, but it's very sticky and tricky situation, guys, with simulcast. Most tracks just don't, want to let people do it for free, and we weren't offered a dollar amount to do it. And so we're going to keep trying to get the video, but that's a non-starter right now, unfortunately.
You could say it a little cheekier and just say people with monopolies don't like to give up monopolies very often.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Eric Walker suggests Howard is a really good 3-year-old and hasn't progressed. Okay, I can buy that. I didn't like him at all in the mile race. I didn't understand why they were trying to stretch him out. Like I said, he was off a layoff, Matt, and these are animals. These are not machines. He probably ran he probably just ran a 93, 94. And Joe Shiesty probably just ran a 98, 99 or 96, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened there. Yes. Parker did no go all in on Howard Wallets. You did, right?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. Okay. And 2 doubles of the 3 horses.
Mm-hmm. That's
Not
correct.
to push back on you, but I didn't think you were going to use the 4.
I wasn't, but I realized that with the target that I had in mind, I could actually afford the 4. So.
Oh, so there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I thought he was only going to be taking 2 out of the 3, but I think based on the math he did, he worked it out that you can get all 3. So, okay, didn't matter, but it was a nice job of figuring out you can afford a 3rd horse.
Look at this, guys. Raymond 7451. Good day from Perth, Australia. What's up, Raymond?
Oh my
How you doing? Isn't that making fun of my accent? All right. Pick 3 winners today. Petronella, Walaka, and Joe Shiesty. Wow. Great job, Raymond. You guys do a great job because your pattern of racing is very different. Your analysis has helped heaps. Thank you, Raymond. Appreciate that. Watching
Cheers.
from Australia, guys. How about that? So that's the beauty of YouTube. That's the first time I think we've had an Australian person in the chat. So Raymond, congratulations. Having a great day and a great job on Joe Shiesty. Love Australian racing, by the way. Wish I could play more. It's just the time of day for us. It's just
Got to stay up late.
You know, I'm old, Noah, so it's only so. From Chris Couples.
That was late.
Chris Couples, guys, who's gonna be on our show actually in about a week and a half. He's gonna host with me because Pete and Paul are out. By the way, we won't forget about the last race. I know a lot of people are interested in the live, and we won't forget that. How much time do we have? I don't want to be disrespectful here, guys.
12 minutes.
12 minutes. Okay. I'm going to make a play because I have to. Not in the contest, but, you know. Chris Couples, I agree Howard was supposed to win that race, but I also think you guys are discounted Joe Shiesty. He's a quality horse who broke good and stayed. Chris, like I said, I've bet him a lot lately. I just didn't think, I thought there'd be more speed, Chris, and I didn't think the 6 furlongs would do him any good. I also didn't think, no, in a million years they'd go 22-1, which is actually slow for this kind of race. So, but yeah, I got no problem with Joe Shiesty. I got a problem with my namesake. Didn't effing go by. That's my problem.
Yeah.
So, let's see. From Cody, I'm out too. Oh, man. Sorry, Cody. Turfway Synthetic is definitely not my service of choice to handicap. Can't win them all, but definitely looking forward to playing more in the future. Cody, thanks for watching the show. I'm not sure I've seen your name before. Appreciate it. It's a really tough game. I mean, I don't have to tell most people that are watching right now. Let me see here. I'm just looking at some other things. James, of course, we had video. If we had video, we would have missed Noah trying to get Howard Wallowitz to the wire.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that because I think I'm gonna laugh at myself.
Okay, well, I know I just put my head down because I'll tell you what that I'm proud of, Matt. I was never like a program slapper. Like I once in a while do one of those kind of things. If you watch our shows, I hope that I'm not being less emotional because I'm being desensitized to these big plays and whatever. I hope that's not the case. But as host,
do I look like I've toned it down at all when we go to Saratoga and I go absolutely nuts?
Well, that's different than being on air here.
Well,
but no.
The difference for me is I don't do it during the race. The level of stupidity I would feel getting all excited and then losing. So I try to keep it in reserve, and then it just comes flying out if the thing goes well.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I wish we could get in each other's heads, Noah, like at the top of the stretch. I wasn't feeling great, and I thought he'd go by sooner. When they don't go by sooner, you got to worry a little bit. And when I saw the fraction, I was like, anyway, whatever. Enough of that. It's a damn shame. Noah, let me tell you something, my friend. You have had a great run. I know today was a bummer for you. If it makes you feel better, no, this is happening to me at least, and Matt can vouch, at least the last 6 or 7 bigger tournaments, I've lost. Yeah. I want to do something else with my fingers, but I'm going to keep it.
Oh, trust me, I do too.
I mean, Matt can vouch for this, and Matt, you don't have to vouch for me on air here, but no, the last like 6 to 7 to 8 tournaments, I literally have lost like the last race I needed by each race by easily less than half a length. I mean, Chapman's Peak, Howard Wallowitz. I could the way Jackson was feeling there for a while, but he sort of broke that chain yesterday. Congratulations, by the way, to Jackson Muniz. Unbelievable job. We shouldn't have taken that long to talk about him. But we can talk about him tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Matt, it's just a brutal game, man. It's a fun game. It's a great game. It's exhilarating. It can be brutal.
It is. Let's bring up a new word that we haven't even mentioned yet, which is the word hedge.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys were supposed to do last race. Even if you're trying to hedge what you did, I mean, the bottom line is that was an almost unhedgeable spot. You know, maybe, and Chris Couples, I'm not making fun of you. I'm being sincere. Maybe if you're Chris Couples and that's the other horse you like, you know, maybe on the side you can bet that one or whatever. But honestly, I wouldn't have known what to do but for Howard Wolowitz. And so that's just a tough spot to lose. I'd way prefer to lose to a really logical second choice that I could cover on the side or do something else with. But it's just a tough loss. So, you know, we move on. And as I keep saying, no one bats 1,000%. So just keep getting at bats. If you've got a decent batting average, you'll get your share of hits. But yeah, there's some really ugly ones in between the hits for sure.
Poppy, I agree. Let's go on to the last race. I agree, Poppy. Noah, 4, 5, and 7 are the ones that are taking the most money right now. I know that you were a little against Thailand when we were talking about this horse earlier this week. I'm slightly against them also. Now that we're free out of the tournament, we can really free to say what we want to say. Based on the odds right now, by the way, Empire West 6-5, Thailand 3-1, McGinnis on tap 6-1. Noah, I love McGinnis on tap here. Love this horse. He's a little slow in the buyers. If you look at the time form figs, Matt and Noah, not only is he fit, he's actually better than the 4 and the 5, if you believe in time form. I think he's going to be more forward. There's nothing wrong with Walsh. Walsh is on fire. I don't think I'm going to get 6-1 at post time, but if McGinnis on tap, now as I say that, he just went to 5-1. This would have been a big play for me if I was in the contest. And I'm going to play some kind of Dutch exact, I think, here 5-7 to try to save a little bit of face today for me.
Yeah, and I agree.
Go ahead.
If I was in a situation where I could only afford one combo, I think that's probably the combo I would have gone with the 3-7 double. And that was one of the plans that I had kind of thought about, you know, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to play one entry or two entries. I just didn't know how some of those earlier races played out and what the number I was that I wanted to be at going into this race. But yeah, I'm in agreement. If I had to, you know, choose a top pick in here, I'd go to the 7, who, like you said, a little slow, not really all that slow in compared to the 4 and the 5 in terms of buyer points, but the time form puts him squarely in the mix and arguably the horse to beat.
I need to switch to the time form. For people who don't understand what we're talking about, 63, 62 buyer for Thailand, Empire West 62, not coming out of the Zeppelin race, which, to be honest, I don't think was very good. The race on November 9th. Irad Cox for number 5. And then McGinnis on tap has not run since October, which I don't actually mind. But buyers about the same and look steady, which is a little bit disconcerting. But again, if you believe in time form, explain what everyone's looking at, Noah, here, because not everyone is familiar with time form. There's the 4, these numbers on the furthest right. Let me go full screen here. 86.90 for Empire West, 86. And then look at this, Matt. Look at this, guys.
Yeah.
91 and 100 with the same buyer. With the same buyers that the other ones. Noah, do you know enough about time form to feel confident to explain that? Would you rather me explain that situation?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so usually in general, ladies and gentlemen, well, first of all, time form, Matt, takes pace into account a lot more than buyers. Buyers is basically how fast did they, what was their final time versus the track varying versus other final times on the day. It doesn't take into account that a horse was battling into a fast pace and still held on, for example. Or it doesn't take into account that there was a really fast pace and a horse closed from like a train to win, but it got the advantage of a fast pace, which would lower the time form fig. So when you see 9, and usually it's about a 20-point jump, Matt, from buyer to time form, this is 30 and like 40-point jump for McGinnis on tap. So according to time form, he was way against the pace flow, basically, and ran much, much better than the buyer. Now, again, not everyone believes in time form. I have no idea what the sheets say or the rags say. There's a million different ones. I'm a time form guy. So if you believe in time form, he's legitimately in the last 2 races, Matt, 3 to 4 to 5 lengths better than the 4 and the 5 actually. But these younger horses that can improve, especially the 5 figures to improve. He's only had 1 lifetime start.
Yeah, there's all sorts of debate when it comes to different figures, different sheets, different whatever. There's all these different methodologies that some really smart people have come up with to help handicap. And, you know, it's always an interesting angle when the numbers don't all match up. I remember, gosh, I want to say it was the 2019 Breeders' Cup where I think, was it Spun to Run? Had run some crazy huge figure, some buy number.
It was in the Dirt Mile, I think you're talking about.
In Pennsylvania or something like that, and no one believed it. And people said this number is it's just wrong. Well, the horse just came back to the Breeders' Cup and basically totally justified the number, won it like 8-1 or something like that. And right, the people that were getting a little too cutesy questioning the numbers, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really being critical of that. It's more, I like the idea of looking at these different figures, and every now and then if something catches your eye, and if you think the time form gives the horse an edge that buyer doesn't reveal, yeah, maybe there's something there.
Matt, real quick, you got about literally 45 seconds to answer this question. What do you do if you're trying to get an HC seat and you're Steven, Dave, David, Steven, etc.?
$3,500.
Just target something to get to 3,500.
Yep. I'm not even bothering with Nick. That's way too much risk to get there. Nice. I would just tip the cap and move on. Michael, I don't know what you're supposed to do. If I'm you, I'd be betting $50 to win on one horse to move the bar a teeny bit if you win, but I think falling backwards would be terrible. But you got killers like Steven right behind you that are going to be firing here. So
like if you're Seth Morris or Todd Morton, let's assume they've got that dollar amount. They need 7x. Less than that. 6x from their bet, around that. That's, to me, that's a very much a straight exacta 5 with something is what I would do if I were them.
Yeah,
totally.
It's between 6 and 7x, I'd say.
Love it. But yes, Howard, you're exactly right. There's plenty of exactas that pay, you know, a reasonable 9-1, 11-1, so they might be able to afford 1 or 2. Right. This is the time where people don't really bet like they normally bet. You have to skinny up so that you make sure you hit your target. And if you were just playing with $200, you'd play it differently.
We'd have to go through the leaderboard, Matt, which we don't have time to do as they're approaching the gate here. If Howard Wallowitz had won, that would have put me at 24. Any guess what place I would have been at that point? 6th, 7th?
You knew that would be the answer. Maybe a little higher than that. Frankly, the fact that Noah was Dutch to payouts in the 4,000s, that's a lot for this tournament, in my opinion. So I don't know there would have been that many more people like that. But you know, you can, to the point you hinted at, you can go back and do some kind of hand deconstruction by clicking on people and seeing who would have hit what. It's a long exercise, but it's interesting sometimes.
I walked in on the gallop out.
Well, good luck to everyone as they approach the gate. Again, we don't have video. It's not a non-starter, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully it'll happen at some point, but there's no reason not to tune in. I mean, I'm sure everyone's watching on their own screen here. I don't mean to be talking over Mr. Hoover and who's the other? Who's there today?
On the outside, it was pretty close.
Matt Carruthers.
Carruthers, yeah.
It was
sounds like Dave Weaver right now.
She probably went by length.
I'm a little surprised, Noah. Let me turn this. We don't need sound on
superiority.
Even money on the 5. I mean, wow. There's all the horse we haven't talked about that could win. But anyway, a few left to load. Here we go. The last race, main special weight. Who is going to the 2026 NHC? We're about to find out. After the race, stick on for a few minutes as we'll take a final look at the leaderboard when it's over. Good luck to everyone. I'd like to see a 7-5 finish to cash for something.
Good luck.
There they go. Thailand wants to show pace. Also there, Flash the Magic from the inside. McGinnis on tap. These are the three quickest into stride. Navigate comes away in fourth. Then Beale Street Boy. Empire West races inside of Big Hawk. Big Hawk to the outside there of Empire West. Actually, outside of Empire West now is Hayes Gold. Big Hawk is about 3 lengths behind them. After that is Wargamer, Refined Design, and Still Sober's the last of all. Flash the Magic now assumes the lead. Thailand trying to sit a chilly trip. McGinnis on tap is not chilly. Now he's going to the front. McGinnis on tap to the backstretch run.
I like that
Opens up
move,
2
Noah.
lengths to
I don't know if it's going to work, but I
and
like
Flash
it.
the Magic. And after them along the inside there, races Navigate with Hayes Gold. Empire West is the gray, and he's a little more than 6 off the lead. A length to Beale Street Boy, flanked by Big Hawk. They have a length and a half on Wargamer, almost 3 to Refined Design, and Still Sober is the last of all. And McGinnis on tap was eager entering the backstretch, and he's the leader at the 3/8. Thailand has been sitting a very chilly trip, and he's ready to re-engage, getting within a length and a half midway through the turn. Hayes Goal is beginning a bid. He's into third, but he's under a drive. Flash the Magic is fourth. Empire West now into the clear, and he's closing in. Wargamer follows after him. And
Come on, McGinnis, what do you got?
Back markers. McGinnis on tap, and Thailand to the outside. Thailand trying to come and get McGinnis on tap. They're 1-2 at the 8th pole. McGinnis on tap, responding to the challenge of Thailand, who's all busy outside, and Thailand is gradually getting to him. Thailand to the outside of McGinnis on tap. Thailand and McGinnis on tap in a photo finish. Maybe Thailand, it's very tight. Empire West third. Farther back, Flash of Magic and Hayes go.
Wow, it was a good one all the way to the wire, but it looks like Pratt is just good. He knows how to.
First of all, the 5 was way too far back. I don't know what the story is. I think I just lost another tight photo, Matt. I'm actually almost positive of it.
So we think that came in 4-7.
I'm 98% positive. Again, the wire is very deceiving there. If it was on the wire, I would say it's a photo because I think the 7 got the bob. But
so let's just, before we even know what happened, we talked about there being 3 horses that were real contenders. One of them got bet down all the way to 6-5. If you're one of those people in the tournament, in the 600s, let's say, this is easily one of the exactas you would have picked. Easily, right? There's 3 horses, and if you don't want to take the even money favorite on top, and this exacta just paid, what did we say it was? 4-7, 17-1. So for the dude with $600, no problem. You just won the whole thing.
Well, hold on, Matt. We don't know what other people did.
Even if you bet half of it, you just got to 5,100. Again, we don't know what other people did. You will have crushed your target, which is all I can ask people to do. You can't really account for what other people end up hitting. But if you're sitting there before this race saying, I got to get to 5,000, that was an extremely gettable exacta if you're focused, laser focused on something like that.
The 7, by the way, got a ridiculously good bob, but again, because the wire's ahead, Noah, he was still. I mean, it's less than a net. It wasn't an inch, but it was a nose. It was a nose. It was a nose. I had 100 to win the 7. Just, I'll be honest, everyone. I'm not going to sit here and come and BS people on this show. That would have been $500. I would have gotten, a bunch of my contest money back. But if and buts, candy nuts. Of course, the 4-1 no, because you jinxed me from earlier this week. I don't mind. Now, I think you'd agree with this, and we'll show the leaderboard and then end the show. And by the way, thanks everyone for watching. We really do appreciate it. We have a leaderboard show tomorrow, 6 p.m. No, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern or 6? I'm drawing a blank. Now I got to look at my own. It's either 5 or 6. It's not 6 or,
6 or 7.
No, it's not that. Let me just check real quick, everyone, because
5 o'clock Central. So 6 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, 6 p.m. Eastern, everyone. 6 p.m. Eastern.
5 Eastern. 5 Eastern. Final answer. 5 Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to recap the last 2 contests. This one, the last one, and then there's another exciting contest next week, Matt, with NHC seats on the line. Shout out to Darren Zocali and Twinspires. They're offering NHC seats up the yin yang, and we really do appreciate that. In terms of jockeys there, Noah, I never mind aggression. Sure, could the 7 been a little more patient, but he thought it was a slow pace. I don't know who was on the 7. Who was that? It was Machado.
Yeah.
He thought it was a slow pace, which actually it wasn't. And he made his move and he lost by an inch. I never have a problem with that. Just from pure jockey perspective. And the 4 we were both I wouldn't say negative to, but we had our doubts. Of course, Flavian. It just makes the difference, really.
Yep. No, I like the move. And somebody pointed out in the chat earlier, it kind of seems like speed's been good. Not that it's been,
Yes.
supervised up front, but
Agreed.
we saw a decent amount of horses today win on the front end. Now, I know a lot of that was pretty chalky and pretty formful, but you had some big efforts from some big prices. Some of the races that, I was even fortunate enough to cash in. You saw some big numbers for second and third and horses that were up front really.
Yeah,
want to keep going.
There were less deep closers tonight, it felt like.
Yep.
I don't know if that's because some of the racing was during the day or what the situation was here. We're still waiting for the results of the contest. Again, thank you everyone for watching. James, Aaron, Eric, we really appreciate it. It's official now. So it should be official. The contest should be official very soon. So I'm just looking to see.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
This is wow, I'm a little surprised. I don't mean to be slow rolling. No change. No change. So 1,
Really?
2, 3, 4 didn't move position. So congratulations, Nick Sievers at $5,300. Michael, did he sit? He was not alive to that double. So I think he just sat, if I'm remembering the race order right. No criticism to Steven Zare. Oh man. Man, that's a rough one. So this guy is sharp and he is a good player. Look at those bets. And that is an odds change that snapped him. Period.
Yeah.
It's an odds change.
Well, what was Thailand? But Thailand went down in odds?
All I can tell you is that he lost by a little over $200.
Right.
He cashed for a fair amount of money here.
Right.
And so it's a marginal difference. I mean, that's a slight odds change. That's just a shame. I don't know that he did anything wrong. I'm not suggesting that in the least, but that is someone who's probably sitting there shaking his head saying that was rotten luck. He made a nice hit and he's a really good player.
Yeah.
The guy behind him, credit.
David Handelin put 600 win on the 5 and he went for it. He was just wrong.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Credit to him. And,
he had 150 on the 7 too. Ouch, that's brutal.
Oh, but that wouldn't have got him in the top 2.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been enough.
No, definitely not enough. But he did have 150 to win on the 7. He also had doubles. He had doubles of the 7. Noah. Oh my goodness. He had $40. No, only $20 double. He had $20 double to the 7. I don't think that would move the needle enough either. We can talk more about this tomorrow, guys.
So one thing I can say with tremendous positivity, and if I can take even 0.1% of credit for helping the world, there were no DQs. Congratulations, everybody. Everyone got their minimums. There were no horror stories about, winning but losing. Those are so heartbreaking to see. So good that people are catching on a little better with making sure to get the particulars in order.
For sure. Congratulations to Nick Sievers and Michael Donovan, who are going to the NHC with either their first or their second seat, depending on their situation. In terms of Weekend Warriors, this is our last Weekend Warrior show before Christmas. So we want to wish everyone who only watches Weekend Warriors, although why would you be doing that, a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. For everyone else, we've got shows tomorrow, Monday. We got live shows Tuesday, and then we're off for a few days. So I'll wait for my final holiday wishes until those 2 shows. Noah's really quick last thought.
It was a good night. Got myself.
Was it really though?
I had fun. I can say that. And I think the important thing about it is we had a good time. Like I get to laugh about it. You know, it sucks to lose, but you know, we still get to joke about 6-7s and all that good stuff. So glad to share the night with you guys.
I think, yeah, it was a pleasure, Noah. Great job again. I felt like I played well. I just got pimped at the end, and I don't think I would have had the 4 on top in that last race, although I might have had an exacta with the 7 or something underneath Matt. I mean, I love the 7, and he lost by an inch. And just to close out, I'm not going to say time form was 100% right, but they certainly were not wrong, because the horse was sort of a cold 5-1 and a little bit slower on the buyers, Matt, and probably ran the best race with an early move into a fast pace and almost held on. So
look,
there's another example why you can't just look at one speed figure. And I think time form was pretty on there, pretty spot on, actually.
Totally agree. And just keep it simple. He totally outran his odds.
No doubt.
So it's a nice pick. It just, and like you said, if circumstances were different, that was a havable exacta at the end. So that's the kind of stuff that haunts me is, you know, did I step on the right spots? Did I push on the right places? And okay, if I had money at the end, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it's possible. You never know. But
yeah.
And congrats to the winners. These are good. On top of it, I know both of these. These are good people. So cool stuff.
That's great. Well, it makes you feel better, Matt. Both Noah and I thought that was a very difficult last race, and we didn't want it to come down to the last race for our own contest plays, selfishly. So anyway, congrats to everyone. Had a lot of fun. Really appreciate everyone watching. For Noah Maher, Matt Miller, I'm Howard Kravitz, an uncle for the 7th time as of last night. Again, congratulations to my brother and sister-in-law. This has been Weekend Warriors, of course, co-sponsored by Twinspires. Thank you very much for their partnership. We will see you on our live shows tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. Thanks for watching, everyone. Crush your bets in the next Twinspires contest. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.